The question is simple. What if Michael Jordan was still in his prime when he returned to the Wizards? Look at LeBron James today, 38 years old and still essentially in his prime, putting up hella points per game, looking like some of his best seasons of all time, even in his late years. It goes to show that it's totally possible for a great NBA player to continue to be great even in their late 30s. Except for Michael Jordan, it was a little bit different, and I'll cover more in today's video. But the question today is, if Michael Jordan returned from retirement and played for the Wizards for those 2 NBA seasons, how good would they have been if Michael Jordan was in his prime? I think to break this down, we're going to need to remember why Jordan came back to the Wizards in the first place. I'm sure there are plenty of YouTube videos covering this exact topic, but let's do our best. In 1998, Michael Jordan wins his 6th NBA championship, technically in a row. And then he calls it quits after the last dance. This being from Phil Jackson not coming back with the Bulls, to Scottie Pippen not wanting to be there anymore, to even Jordan being exhausted from giving 100% every single day. Jordan walks away from the game a second time. So why the Wizards? Well, Jordan said he was tired of playing, but he didn't say he stopped loving basketball. Looking for a manager type role, even though that's worked so good for him so far, Jordan gets the Wizards to buy and give him a chance to be an important piece on an organization. So how did that turn into him actually playing basketball? Well, the Wizards sucked. Jordan essentially pulled a Thanos.
I'll do it myself.
He thought they had a better chance of winning if he was playing rather than being the president of basketball operations. One slight issue is that Jordan was fat. Okay, not necessarily fat, but he had a retired body at this point. Instead of training every single day to win NBA championships, Jordan was snorting cigars and smoking gambling every day. Kind of hard to play well when you let yourself go completely. But let's say that Jordan put $1 million into his body like LeBron James and worked out every single day to prepare. Would Jordan have helped the Wizards succeed? Well, let's find out. But if we're going to start off this video, we do have to ask a very important question. Which Wizards? Jordan played for 2 years, and in both years they failed to make the playoffs. Both Wizards teams ended up with the exact same record with the exact same odds of winning a championship. However, both teams looked very, very different from each other. Let's start off with the 2002 Wizards. So the Wizards were the worst team in the NBA just a year before, and they had drafted Kwame Brown with the very first pick in the draft. We all know how well that turned out. They ended up signing Ty Lue, who had just won 2 NBA championships, and they hired Doug Collins, who was the former Bulls coach for Michael Jordan. The team already had a younger Rip Hamilton, NBA champion Rip Hamilton, Courtney Alexander, a good player, and Christian Laettner, who was still doing pretty well at the time. In the 10 games before the All-Star break of 2002, Michael Jordan was averaging 29.7 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 6.1 assists, 1.2 steals on 47% from the field. These are basically near prime Michael Jordan numbers. In fact, before the All-Star break, Michael Jordan was considered an MVP contender at the age of 38 years old. Does that remind us of anybody? And that would have been his 6th MVP award. Wizards were 15-1 in the last 16 games before the All-Star break that Jordan and Rip Hamilton had played together. However, on February 7th, Michael Jordan gets injured. He collides with Eaton Thomas right before the All-Star break and injures his knee. This is a big point because the Wizards were on pace to win 50 games that year. So my first question is essentially, if Michael Jordan and Rip Hamilton never got hurt in 2002, well, what would happen? Let's find out. So we go to the 2002's My NBA eras. We have injuries turned off just for this video. We have a starting lineup of Chris Whitney, Michael Jordan, Rip Hamilton, Christian Laettner, and Eaton Thomas. That is the roster that 2K decided made the most sense for prime Michael Jordan. Here you can see Coach Doug Collins right there with the super long curly hair. And here you see the roster right here with the best player Michael Jordan, 99 overall, and 84 overall Rip Hamilton, and Christian Laettner, 78. No one else is really even remotely good on this team, at least ratings-wise. You do have Hubert Davis, which is a pretty important player because he was a really good three-point shooter, and Ty Lue. That's all I really see here. You see, technically you do see Kwame Brown, but that's not much here. After simulating the entire regular season, the MVP of the NBA is Shaq. I know, big shocker. Michael Jordan ends up getting second team All-NBA, which is always a pretty good deal, and then also first team All-Defensive at 38 years old. So I don't think Michael Jordan is really complaining there. Not only that, but the Washington Wizards end up with the best record in the NBA with 61 wins. Are you kidding me? The only team that has 60 wins besides them are the New Orleans Hornets in the East with Baron Davis, which was the only other team that was even remotely close that good. Obviously in the West, we have the Los Angeles Lakers with Shaq and Kobe and Phil Jackson. Michael Jordan this season's averaging 31 points per game on 6 rebounds and 5 assists with 2.2 steals on 60% from the field. So he's playing essentially near his prime right now at 38 years old. So this is what prime, Michael Jordan would look like, but however, these are the stats that he was basically averaging before he got hurt. Rip Hamilton's averaging 23, and the next person that's scoring a lot is Hubert Davis with 12. So no one's really doing that well besides Rip Hamilton and Jordan. And in the first round, as the first seed in the NBA, the Wizards had to play the New York Knicks, who are the 8th seed. But do not sleep on this Knicks team. This is an 8th seed Knicks team that was able to go to an NBA Finals just 2 seasons before with Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell. They're not, doing well as the year before, but still, they're still a pretty good team. And Jordan ends up sweeping them, straight up. No surprise. He's getting double teamed here, does a fadeaway, and still hits it with completely smothered. That's how good the Michael Jordan we're talking about. This is the GOAT right here, doing what he's doing, and completely destroys the Knicks in 4 games, making it to the second round almost easily. I can understand why Michael Jordan and Rip Hamilton playing at a good level and shooters around them can win against a Knicks team that is struggling already. But now we have the second round. It is the first seed Wizards versus the Indiana Pacers, who were the 5th seed. This is just 2 years away from Malice at the Palace. It's literally the Indiana Pacers that will literally murder you if they could. It's Eric Strickland, Ron Artest, you have Jermaine O'Neal, and Al Harrington. Can an older Michael Jordan deal with a physical series like this? We're going to have to find out. And just like that, after 4 games, it's a 3-1 series with the Wizards ahead. Michael Jordan's not messing around here. I do want to defend the Pacers here. There is no Reggie Miller because 2K doesn't have the rights to Reggie Miller. And so it definitely would help in this series, but I still think probably the Wizards might edge this one out. And even here you see, with 19 seconds left, just Al Harrington missing basically a sitter, right? And so Michael Jordan's just holding the ball. And yeah, it's kind of over. And he's not shooting a last-minute shot, even though they already won it like an asshole, like in the last series. He respectfully beats the Indiana Pacers, and it's not even close. But now, in the conference finals as the first seed, the Washington Wizards have to play against Allen Iverson's Philadelphia 76ers, a team that just went to an NBA Finals last year. And on top of that, the Philadelphia 76ers have a brand new roster because now they have Keith Van Horn, they replaced Mutombo, and they have Derek Coleman. A pretty decent roster, but still, I'd argue that the Mutombo team was probably better. Not only that, but the 76ers roster is the 7th seed in the NBA, so that means that they weren't even that good compared to the year prior. Michael Jordan should be able to beat this team. Now, can he beat Allen Iverson in his prime? Well, Michael Jordan's a little older. We're going to have to wait and see, but this should be doable. And just like that, the Philadelphia 76ers are up 3-2 going to game 6. Let's see what happens. Well, with only 3 minutes left, the Wizards are down 11 points. Can they come back and take this game to a game 7? We have a super close-up of Keith Van Horn hitting some free throws, so that should make it a 12-point game. So even bigger gap than we thought before. And yeah, he hit it. We have Whitney taking the ball up the court. He's just going to give it to Michael Jordan. It's actually Rip Hamilton under the basket, taking advantage of Allen Iverson's small frame. Michael Jordan's just trying to take it, does a BS layup and goes in. Dude, Michael Jordan is trying to do everything he possibly can to make it to this NBA Finals this old with a brand new team. Allen Iverson is going to try to cook on Michael Jordan. He's getting bumped up. He can't really get past him. Goes for a lip, and Michael Jordan fouls him. Oh no, bro. With 2 minutes 30 left, you can tell that's the face of Michael Jordan of I'm about to get eliminated. Weren't there refs on the Wizards giving Michael Jordan calls because they just believed him when he said that there was a wrong call? That's crazy.
Michael, I didn't see 2 hands on him, Michael, but I believe you.
Allen Iverson hits both free throws, and oh man, it's just not looking good. Jordan gets double team, gives it to Rip Hamilton. Always good to have a teammate you can pass it to, right? It's an 8-point game. It's not impossible. A couple big plays. Allen Iverson completely crosses up Jordan and gets an easy layup. oh, we've seen Allen Iverson cross Jordan before, but Jordan just taking it right back. He's way bigger than Allen Iverson. He's just gonna bully him under the basket. It's basically a mismatch war. Jordan's old age isn't able to keep up with Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson is basically unable to stop Jordan under the basket, and it's like an endless cycle over and over and over again, just match, match, match. But that's not enough. The Wizards need more than matching. They need to find a moment here, and Troy Dan actually takes the ball out of bounds on accident. That's a big mess up. Jordan, again, under the basket. Does a little fadeaway and misses it. No, that was such a big miss, and that miss was the reason the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Wizards. Yes, Michael Jordan gets eliminated in the conference finals and cannot face probably the Lakers in the finals. That is tough. Who would have loved to see a Shaq and Kobe versus Michael Jordan finals? That's a damn shame. The Sixers take it. Eric Snow ends up getting the conference finals MVP, which is hilarious. And Michael Jordan is eliminated. And the even sadder part is the 76ers made it to the finals, were up 3-0 and choked the 3-0 lead, and the Lakers ended up winning. So an even more depressing end to that finals. In conclusion, Michael Jordan, if he was even remotely close to his prime, would be the number one seed in the NBA and could probably make the NBA Finals. I think the bigger issue is that the team around him, even though Rip Hamilton's good, I think everyone else around him doesn't complement Jordan's game, and that's why they were struggling. And they would have got destroyed by Shaq. No one on that team was... Kwame Brown would have got eaten alive by Shaq. So I can't imagine them winning the championship, but I do think Jordan would have at least wanted to make the finals there. So just a damn shame. Now let's talk about the season of 2003. The next year, the Wizards wanted big changes to help Michael Jordan fill out this roster and be a little more competitive. First, they trade Rip Hamilton to the Pistons, and he goes on to win an NBA championship, for Jerry Stackhouse, who just a season ago was averaging 30 points per game. Now, in the moment, I can see why a team would do this trade, but God, looking back on it, what an L. They signed Larry Hughes, one of the best two-way players in the league. He's no joke. And they signed Byron Russell, which I cannot believe why they would do that. They also signed Charles Oakley, who was already bad at this point, so not really sure what that was about. Kind of a C-grade offseason at best for this Wizards team that needed to get a lot better. I mean, this is probably the reason the Wizards' projected wins were the exact same as the year before. But if Michael Jordan was in his prime with this roster, maybe this team could work. Look, 2K already has the 03 Wizards, so I didn't have to do much. Let's see how it goes. The new starting lineup is Larry Hughes at point guard, Michael Jordan at shooting guard, Jerry Stackhouse at small forward, Christian Laettner at power forward, and Eaton Thomas at center, even though it could be Kwame Brown or whoever. It kind of didn't really matter. They're all not good, respectfully. Let's simulate the regular season and go from there. After the regular season, Tim Duncan wins MVP, which is absolutely deserving, with 2.6 blocks and 15 rebounds on good efficiency. Yeah, he deserves it. Phil Jackson wins Coach of the Year. Dude looks like Colonel Sanders. And Michael Jordan wins first team All-NBA and first team All-Defensive. I mean, this is probably as close to prime as you can get for Michael Jordan. The Wizards end up as the best team in the East again, but with a worse record of 54 wins instead. The Toronto Raptors are the second best team in the conference, and in the opposite conference, you have the Los Angeles Lakers with 55 wins. So they do not end up with the best record in the NBA. The Wizards end up with the second best record in the NBA behind Shaq's Lakers. Not only that, Michael Jordan drops 34 points per game for the entire season. These are insane numbers. Jerry Stackhouse drops 23 and Larry Hughes 14 for the season. But again, everyone else on the roster is kind of not doing that well. And in the first round, the Washington Wizards are going to have to play against Paul Pierce's and Antoine Walker's Boston Celtics, who are the 8th seed. But again, don't sleep on this team. This roster was able to make a conference finals. So this is a good team to play in the first round, but Michael Jordan's Wizards should be able to beat them, especially if he's in his prime. And just like that, the Wizards are down 3-1 in the first round. What? Okay. We're going to have to simulate with Simcast to see how this goes. The Wizards take game 5, making it a 3-2 series. The Celtics are still up. Bro, with a minute 35 left, the Celtics are up 13 points. Is Jordan going to get out the first round? He would have to pull a miracle to get this win. Let's see. Well, we got Kwame Brown isoing a point guard at the 3-point line, which is already a mistake. And who's this point guard, by the way? It doesn't even exist. It's a fake player. And Kwame Brown, listen, bro, if that's your play, I don't know what to tell you. It's probably not a good sign. Michael Jordan's wide open. Does not take the 3. Does a little spin move on Paul Pierce. A super contested shot and makes it. Makes it a 9-point game with a minute left. It's not impossible. Antoine Walker under the basket. Ugh, that might be it. 11 points with 49 seconds left. It's not looking good. Michael Jordan's gonna have to pull up a prayer, and it misses, and that's probably series. Michael Jordan, terrible shot. Hayward misses a putback, a super easy one. Yeah, bro. Michael Jordan out in the first round with one of the best records in the NBA against the Celtics. Damn, Michael Jordan to this day is haunted by the Celtics, bro. No way in the first round. That's tough. Michael Jordan had 39 points and they didn't win because nobody else showed up. Okay, it's not Jordan's fault. I changed my mind. That's crazy, bro. He played so good and it didn't even matter. That's tough. But they get eliminated in the first round. Michael Jordan, if you got prime Jordan or a Jordan that was taking care of himself and it was still ready to play in the NBA, he would have good teams, but they still wouldn't be championship level teams with those rosters. Sure, he would have made the playoffs, but he would have either been a first round exit or lost in the conference finals convincingly. That's still pretty good. And I mean, hey, it's not like this team was like broken or anything. It's not like he was expected to win these championships. It's just that, damn, I was kind of hoping we'd get a finals appearance at least. But Jordan, even at an older age, still in his prime, would not be able to win a championship with the Wizards teams. All right, guys, that's it for the video. If you like that kind of content, please join the pack and subscribe. And if there's a specific video you want me to do, let me know in the comments. See you guys next time.